Welcome to Lacrosse Classified, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse. We will bring you the biggest names and best storylines in the world every single week. So settle down and listen up. It's time for Lax Class.
What's going on, lacrosse fans? Welcome back to Lacrosse Classified. Lax Class 351, in fact, right here on Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network. Jake Kelly, Lucas Archer, back in the chair here with, or chairs as it were. We're not sitting in the same chair. That'd be weird. Welcome back to Lax Class. How's it going, everybody? Big program lined up for you here. And I'm talking big. Like, I know I kind of say that every week. I really mean it this week. As we're going to overtime here on EP 351, we have two guests, Gavin Prout, Brooklyn Merchants, Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, Colorado Mammoth, and we got Steve Toll, Toronto Rock, Panther City back in the day. He is now the head coach of the St. Catharines Junior A Athletics, and we got lots to talk about. Minto and Prezi. Minto Cup starts this week. I cannot freaking believe it. President's Cup just a week off in the horizon. And we have so much to discuss here on the program as far as box lacrosse goes. So let's get into that here momentarily. But Larger, I know you're way back on the East Coast right now in good old Newfoundland. Welcome back to the show. How's it going back there in a couple of different time zones from where I'm at?
It's going great. I'm loving it out here in Atlantic Canada. Unfortunately, we're under a little bit of an evacuation notice due to the wildfires here in St. John's, but had to change venues here for the Canada Summer Games for box lacrosse, playing out of an old barn here today. And when I say old, I mean the lighting has probably not been updated in almost 50 years. They had no lacrosse lines on their floor. We had to, us officials, not myself, but all the other officials that are here at the games, they had to take white duct tape and make a change box, a restraining line, a crease on the floor this morning. And the rest of the organization committee helped out as well, but they did a great job getting it all set today. And I'm enjoying the abundance of seafood out here.
I was going to say, you got any lobster in Dia, or have you tried?
Haven't gotten the lobster, but I've had tilapia, halibut, haddock, cod, crab cakes.
What about screech? You got any screech in there yet? Do you know what screech is?
I know what screech is. That is not in my system yet, as I'm waiting for my family just arrived here in St. John's a couple days ago. So that is one thing that we are doing together as a family, is all four of us are going to get screeched in.
Who showed up? Funky, Vinny, who else is your sister? Who
showed up? Yeah, Funky.
All of them.
Yep, Funky, Vince, and my sister. They all made the flight out here.
Good stuff. Supporting the boy. I like it. Well, have fun back there. And speaking of fun, there is all sorts of fun going on in the world of box lacrosse right now. As we get closer here to the middle of August, we have found out a bunch of things. So let's just talk about those right here off the top. We now know the four teams that will compete in the Minto Cup. The Raiders Lacrosse Club, as we start in the Rocky Mountain Junior Lacrosse League. We're down in that series to the Mounties, and I think I called them the Mountaineers last week, which is wrong. They used to be the Mountaineers, but now they're just the Mounties. And now they are on the outside looking in. As the Raiders were down 3-1 in that series, backs up against the wall. They tie that thing up. They force a Game 7. They were down 3 goals in that Game 7. And then they were down 2 with about 4 minutes to go in that game. And I'm just saying, you see general manager of the Raiders Lacrosse Club, Andrew McBride, come out for a little mop duty on the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this is pretty good. Like, no job too small, too big for the GM of the Raiders here, and Brider, who comes out and starts mopping the floor during the floor wipe. I'm like, good on him, swallow your pride a little bit, go up and mop the floor, great. But then I realize I don't think that's why he was out there mopping the floor. as I see him turn to his goaltender and had a few words with him. And I thought, oh, maybe is he like, giving him some words of encouragement and pumping him up and getting him focused. Didn't think too much of it. But then right after that, the Raiders call Tommy St. Louis, the Mounties goaltender, for illegal equipment. And old Tommy St. Louis deemed illegal. Raiders get a power play. They score on that power play. Now they're within one. The game comes right down to the bitter end. We're talking game 7, birth to the Minto Cup on the line. Mounties with a 1-goal lead, get a stop on defense, under 30 seconds to go in the game, and they call timeout. So now they have the ball in the crease, Raiders with the empty net, down a goal, and all they got to do is clear that ball across center and run out the clock. Can't do it. Turn the ball over in their zone. Bingo, bango, back of the net it goes. We're tied, and we're heading to overtime, and the Raiders go on to win in OT by a couple and come all the way back from 3-1 to win the series in 7. They were down and out of it. It was over. The Mounties had the ball with under 30 seconds to go, up a goal, and couldn't finish the deal. So I have to believe that Andrew McBride, when he was out there mopping the floor, turned to his goaltender, Tommy Wood, and said, cinch it up a little bit, Tommy. We're going to call the other goalie here, and you better make sure that you're legal if they return the favor. They never did. Say what you want. If the Raiders don't make that call, they don't win that game.
It's something you don't see often in junior or in senior lacrosse, but that's what you got to do. That comes down to good coaching. You notice one little thing that might be off, but someone had eagle eyes to make that call, and lo and behold, the difference maker that will send the Raiders Lacrosse Club back to the Minto Cup for a second straight year.
I mean, whatever it takes to win, right? And I've always said, like, a lot of people hate when coaches call goalies on illegal equipment. I'm not one of them. Like, for me, I'll say this. I say it on broadcast. I say it on this podcast. If you don't want to get caught, don't cheat. If you're not cheating, you got nothing to worry about. And as the opponent's coach, like as the coach calling the illegal equipment, and you can call it cowardly, gutless, whatever you want to say, if you're not doing everything in your power to try and help your team win, are you really doing the best job that you possibly can? And if you see something that you think is illegal and that you think is going to help your team win that game and don't call it and go on to lose that game, even if you lose the game anyways, are you really doing the best job to your ability? So again, if you don't want to get caught, don't cheat. And the coach has to do everything in his power to try and help his team win. And that's what Bannister and the boys did. They got the call. They got the power play goal. They got the turnover. They got the game tying goal late in that game. And then they won in overtime. And they're the team that is in the Minto Cup. So say whatever you want about calling goalie pads. Raiders are in. Mounties are out.
They found a way.
I did see a tweet from Dave Dawson, who was calling that game. He's scared. That was my best Dave Dawson impersonation. He's scared. Awesome. But he mentioned in a bit of a cryptic tweet after that game that one of the 4 head coaches in the Rocky Mountain Junior Lacrosse League will be stepping down before next season. So I'm not sure who that will be. I wouldn't expect it to be Mitch Bannister, who is going to the Minto Cup, and the Raiders are going to host the Minto Cup next year, as Andrew McBride broke that news last week. Minto in Alberta, Raiders are hosting. So there's 3 straight trips for that club to the Minto Cup, as this will be their second, and they're hosting next year, so you know that they're in. Coquitlam took a little longer than I think they were probably expecting, but give the Victoria Shamrocks a lot of credit in this series as they push the Adnex to 6 games. They are all pretty tight games on top of that, but when their starting goaltender left for South Korea, it was going to be a tall order. They still hung in there, but eventually Coquitlam would overcome the Shamrocks and they punch their ticket to Lord Minto's dance once again. Adnax are back in, Raiders are back in, and Coquitlam 6 games to get past the Shamrocks.
I don't like to toot my own horn, but I did say Victoria will win game 1 over Coquitlam, and they managed to do that. But Victoria is still a year, maybe 2 away from making a Minto run. They did come close against Coquitlam, losing in 6 games. But that Adnats team, they just seem to win at the right time. Cody Molosky,
Yeah.
the deal that was made between Maple Ridge, Langley, Coquitlam at the junior B level, making him an affiliate player. I don't know if I've ever heard of a transaction or some sort of acquisition that is as smart as that one. Because to be able to get him back and then do what they did in the playoffs,
yeah,
kudos to them.
Yeah, I just don't see a whole lot of holes. Like they did lose some pieces from last year's Minto Cup team, but I think they replaced those pieces for this year's team. Now the X factor for them is that they're not playing at the Palace with Nax Nation packed to the gills behind them. They have to go to the East and try and get it done there, and that hasn't been done since 1978. No Western team has won a Minto Cup since 1978 in the East. So that's the task facing them. I will say I did hear that there was a similar deal. Remember at the beginning of the year, we were talking about Trey Deer and how he was playing for the Kanawagi Hunters to start the season. And then he was up in Orangeville and was like, well, is he playing B? Is he playing A? What's going on here? Orangeville did the same thing with Trey Deer. They reclassified him as a B card. And I heard if Orangeville did not make the Minto Cup, Trey Deer could have rejoined the Kanawagi Hunters for a run to the Founders. Now, that series between Alora, the defending Founders Cup champions, and the Hunters of Kanawagi now at 2-2, and a deciding game 5 actually might be tonight. And there's been some controversy in that whole schmozzle, as well as Orangeville actually probably should have won that series. I think they were up 2-1. Then they got a game stripped. They came back. They won the next game. So that would have made it 3-1 for the Northmen. But they were deemed to have an illegal player, and then they got smoked 17-1. We talked about that 17-1 game. So that's how Alora got into the Ontario final against Kanawagi. They won the first 2 games of that series. Then their goaltender, I don't know his name, but apparently got suspended for some racial remarks. And apparently that suspension was 4 games to begin with, got reduced to 2. So I think he is eligible to return for a deciding game 5. So a lot of things going on in that O final, but it'll either be the defending champs, Alora, or the Hunters that make it to the Founders for Ontario. And all the other teams, I think, are set for that field. Shout out to the Prince Albert Predators, who are the McDonald Cup Junior B 2 Tier C Invitational. I don't know what it is. They're the McDonald Cup champs. They're back to back. Shout out to my guy David Salisbury, who was trying to get me to come out to Abbotsford over the weekend. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. But Prince Albert back to back McDonald Cup champions. Shout out to those guys. Other things I can tell you before we get on to Ontario here: the Snake Island Muskies disposed of the Kanawagi Mohawks in the Three Nations Lacrosse League Senior B final. Sweeper time, 4 buzz for the Muskies. So Joe Hall, my boy Galiwade, Luelis, they're all going to be back in Whitby with the Muskies. Looking forward to seeing those guys. Allegheny, who was, I got an update, I'm going to forget the guy's name now, but something Phillips, I think, I'll look it up, but gave me an update on the Can-Am Lacrosse League as it came down to Tonawanda and Allegheny. Finished up last night, in fact. Phil Cooper. I knew it was a Phil in there. Phil Cooper gave me the update. I want to give him a shout out. It was 3-1 Allegheny. They finished off Tonawanda, the Braves, last night. So Allegheny in. We'll talk to Gavin about it coming up in period number 2 about all the teams in the President's Cup. but I wanted to get the Can-Am in there as well. So let's move on to the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League, because we kind of got away from, I went down another path there. We were talking Junior A, and then I just kind of veered off the freeway for a little bit, but I'm going to get back on the on-ramp here, because the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League final was one of the wackiest series I had ever seen. Like, we saw, I think, we saw 6 games. I think 3 of them went to overtime. 3 out of the games were 4-3 or 5-4, something like that. The home team had won every game up until game 6. And then Whitby and Orangeville playing that game number 6. Whitby had the thing in their grasp. They were 1 second away from game 7. I know you're about to puke in your mouth right now, Larger, but that's okay. 1 second away from a deciding game 7. Maxwell Kruger scores the time. First off, Taguri scores with 26 seconds. They were down 2 with under 30 seconds to go in this game. Taguri scores in transition with 26 seconds to go. A battle for the face-off off the ensuing one that lasted about 15, like close to 12, 13 seconds, I want to say. Orangeville finally gets the ball and calls timeout with 9 seconds to go in their own end. They race up the floor. They pass it to Kruger. He dives to the net and tucks the ball in with 1 second left. We're off to overtime. Sanderson in OT. They call timeout. They draw it up, and the Northmen, horns up, are back in the Minto Cup as they just pulled one out of the fire. Like, similar to game 7 in the Rocky, some of the finishes we have seen, and Whitby did the exact same thing to Orangeville in game 3 or game 4, where they scored super late. They were down 2 late in that game. So I guess it all evens out in the end. But I had a bit of a flashback to the mid-90s when I saw Kruger score the game-tying goal and then Sanderson score the overtime winner, and the Northmen just find a way, and they are your 4th team. St. Catharines, Orangeville, Raiders Lacrosse Club, and the defending champs, Coquitlam Adanacs, will be your 4 teams in the big dance.
Yeah, I'm not going to puke in my mouth. I'm not going to do that, but congratulations to Orangeville and to the rest of the teams going into the Minto Cup. But that game 6 last night in Whitby, what an atmosphere that was. And you're right. The last 30 seconds and into overtime, it was crazy. But
pandemonium, mayhem, chaos.
I feel like Orangeville just made the right decisions at the right time. Not to say that Whitby didn't make good decisions, but Orangeville did it when it mattered most. And I feel like that is the reason, or that's a big reason why they're back in the Minto.
Well, speaking of decisions, I mean, the decisions of Little John and Oldman to head to South Korea. I mean, I feel like if those guys are kicking around, this series probably
that
goes
at least goes 7.
It goes a different way. I think
it
at least goes 7. Not to hang it on those guys, but I'm sure they feel sick. They're, probably on a plane and land and then see what transpired there. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow. But I mean, I got to give a shit ton of credit to the Whitby Warriors, who just battled adversity right from the opening round against St. Catharines, going the full 5 games. I think they played 6 elimination games and they won 5 of them, where they were up against it, and if they didn't win, their season was over, and they just continued to stave off elimination against St. Catharines, against the Beaches, against Orangeville, and then finally, I don't know how many games that they've played in the last 20, 25 days, but it was a ridiculous amount, and the fact that they even had gas left in the tank speaks a lot to that organization, that coaching staff, those players who just left it all out there, like nothing whatsoever to hang your heads about. I mean, they gave it everything that they possibly could. And I mean, it's a miracle that they even made it to where they did, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, 100%. When when you looked around at that roster at the beginning of the season and you knew that you had Worlds coming up, potentially losing Littlejohn and Oldman, and then you get Luke Robinson healthy after he comes back from NCAA, and then he makes the roster. You lost 3 players. You added 5 at the trade deadline, and you go on this run. That is something to be proud of. You should feel happy about that accomplishment. Obviously, lifting the Iroquois Trophy would have been number one, and then winning a Minto. But for all those graduating players that are on that team that I have known for years, almost 15 years for some of them, those guys left it all out there on the floor, and they should feel extremely proud of what they've done in their junior lacrosse careers. And I know that this one stings. It's a very tough pill to swallow, but I know that they are just going to continue to do great things in lacrosse. And one day soon, Whitby will be back in a Minto Cup.
Let's move along to the major series as the Chiefs got past the Owen Sound North Stars, as we all kind of expected. And there was a couple of close games in there, but then it was like, okay, we need to win now, guys. And they just turned it, like they were down 9-8, I think, in game 2 with like 4 minutes to go, and ended up winning that game 13-9. Like they were like, okay, we're running out of time here. Let's win. So they get past Owen Sound. They will await the winner of Brooklyn and Peterborough. They play game 6 tonight with Brooklyn on the precipice, up 3-2. And if game 7 necessary, they will play the very next following night. So Thursday night will be game number 7 back in Peterborough. But a chance for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club to have a date with the Six Nations Chiefs if they can get it done. They just need one win in the next 2 games, and that'd be something there for the BLC if they can get past the Peterborough Lakers.
They've yet to do it in a long, long time. And I know that they were looking for at least one win against Peterborough in the playoffs. They then got 2. They found a way, and then they get an overtime victory. Whoever wins that series is A, going to earn it, and B, it's going to come down to who the heck wants it more. Because everybody knows that when it comes to senior lacrosse, you're playing against your buddies. You're playing against people that you've seen for years in the National Lacrosse League. You're playing against guys that are capable of playing senior A lacrosse. But it's tough to win because everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows what the other team's tricks, their nuances, and what their specialties are on how to win games.
And then your reward for doing that is a date with the 3-time defending champions in Six Nations. So we'll see how the major series plays out. The WLA Finals are set, and that gets going. Well, it got going last night, in fact, and game 2 will be tomorrow. But it is the rivalry older than dirt here, as the first place Coquitlam Adnex will take on the second place New Westminster Sandbellies, both teams winning their semifinal series in 4 games. And doing it in different ways. Like Coquitlam got up to nothing, then the Burrards won game 3, and then Coquitlam won game 4. Shamrocks and Bellies were tied 1-1 after 2, and then the Bellies won back at home in game 3, and then had a pretty convincing win in game 4 over there in Victoria. And for the Shamrocks, who I know had real high hopes coming into the season, and rightly so with the roster that they had in front of them, but just were smacked right upside the head with the injury bug. Like a good chunk of their offense, I want to say like 2/3 of it, was playing hurt, and then they lost to Wrigley, and it was just too much to overcome for a Soundbelly team that also has their eyes on the prize, and I think have really started to hit their stride. They've found some chemistry, and they're playing some real good ball right now. Like Frankie's got a good handful of games under his belt now, and I think he's settled in. So the Bellies get past the Shamrocks, and the Adnex get past the Burrards. And for the Burrards, I don't know how many people were giving the Burrards a chance to win that series, but man, they were not far off. Like you think about it, that series could have easily been 2-1 Maple Ridge after 3 games. They lost a heartbreaker in overtime. I think another 1-goal game in there. Like Coquitlam pretty handily in game 1, but the next 2 easily could have been won by Maple Ridge. And then Coquitlam found a way in game 4 on the road. They were down like 5-0 out of the chute there in game 4. And I thought, okay, like we're going to 5 back in Coquitlam Sunday night here. but they just chipped away, and old 35 between the pipes there just gave him a chance. I think he allowed 2 goals in the final 40 minutes of that game, and Coquitlam goes on to win, which sets up number 1 against number 2 here in a best of 7, and I have no idea who's going to win this series between the Adnacks and Sandbellies, but I'm here for it, man. I can't wait for tonight as we record here on a Tuesday for this series to begin.
Oh, it's going to be a hell of a series. You said it, Jake. A rivalry as old as dirt. It's going to be a goaltending matchup that everybody's going to be looking forward to. Chiliano, Del Bianco, I think they are going to become the X factors. Because you said it yourself, Jake. Del Bianco didn't look his best. He didn't look as sharp as he could be against Maple Ridge, and they were able to pick him apart a little bit. I can't remember which game it was, but Claridge had 9-10 points.
Yeah, 13-12.
One of those games.
Yeah, 13-12 in that game. So you just don't see Delbs allow more than 10 very often, and he's going to need to be at his best, right? Like, this is high firepower coming at him here from the Sandboys. But one thing Coquitlam has in their back pocket, well, they got a couple things. They got home floor, right? They earned that in the regular season, only losing 2 games. So they will have home floor. They get game 1 in their own building. Again, like similar to the Sandbellies, I just think that chemistry, that makeup, that locker room there in Coquitlam, I think is really dialed in. They got a great coaching staff, and they're just a unit that is really tight and playing hard for each other. And the final thing is they're 3-0 against New West this season. Like, they have not lost to the Sandbellies, and postseason's a different animal, but don't think that's not sitting in the back of their minds. Like, fuck, we haven't beat this team yet. And now they got to try and win 4 out of 7 here against a team that they don't have a win against.
No, that's true. That's definitely something that's going to be their minds, and a thought that is definitely planted in there. But at the same time, I think they're going to use that fire under themselves. I think they want revenge. In fact, I know they want revenge. It's never fun losing to the same team 3 times in a season. But for every game that they lose against Coquitlam, it's just going to be like, oh, come on, we got to do this again. We just lost to these guys. Now we got to see them 2 days later. We've yet to beat them in over a year. The Bellies are out for revenge, and they want to show Coquitlam what the heck they're capable of when it matters and everything's on the line.
Yeah, Man Cup will either be at Queen's Park Arena or the Palace on Poirier, and we will see how it all plays out. Like I think I said later in the program as we're recording out of order here today, but I got the first 2. I got games 1 and 2, and then I'm on a plane back east, and I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast yet. I think I told folks I'm doing the President's Cup in Whitby later in the month, but I'm doing the Minto as well. So I'm getting ready to spend a couple of weeks back in Ontario, a week in St. Catharines, and then a week in lovely Whitby. Haven't been to either place here, Lucas, but I'm excited, man. Minto Cup will be myself. Patty Gregoire will be on the call. Ashley Docking will be on site as well. I think Johnny Donville is in the mix there as well. So that's the crew for the Minto. And then the Prezi, myself, Patty is there as well. Maddie Carrick, Lacrosse Boss, who we had on last week. I think you're going to be lingering around. Joe Sullivan will be in the mix as well. And then we'll figure it out. I think my boy Brad Challoner is going to move in with me for a week during the Man Cup. I think he's coming over to the mainland, and he's just going to shack up at Casa Jumbo with me. Yeah.
Jumbo and Challoner under the same roof. I'm not sure whether I want to go to that place or stay away from it, because I know it's going to be fun, but the question is how much fun out there in Poco.
I hope he's not allergic to cats. That's all I can say for Bradley. All right, so there's your rundown. Did we miss anything? I think we covered everything off. We got Junior B, we got Senior B, we got Senior A, we got Junior A. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. U20s are going in South Korea. Those get fired up middle of the month as well. I think you can check that out on the World Lacrosse platform on their website, streaming all those games. We got the minor nationals going on in Halifax. We got the Canada Summer Games going on where you are in Newfoundland. So still lots to kind of cover and get through here for the rest of the summer, and we'll do so over the next couple of weeks as well. We got Gavin Prout coming up. We got Steve Toll coming up. We got our Lax Class Lock of the Week coming up. Lots still ahead here on the program, but we're not even close to being done here in period number 1. You know what day it is, Lucas. It's report card day.
Settle down, class. Today is report card day. Today report card day. It's report card day.
Report card day. Throw some D's on that. I don't know if we're going to throw some D's on our report cards this week or not, but we're about to find out. Report cards are brought to you by the Western Lacrosse Association, WLALacrosse.com. We talked a lot about the WLA Finals, but still more to talk about here. You can go to their website and find out all the information about the finals, the award winners from this year, who your top scorers were, and all that sort of stuff. And, of course, the link to WLA TV where you can watch the WLA Finals, each and every game right there as well. Thank you to the Western Lacrosse Association for sponsoring Lax Class Report Cards. Focus up, Archer. What's your report card this week?
Oh, my report card is in my hometown of Whitby. Game 4. Game 4.
I know where this is going.
I think you do know too. Game 4. Whitby's very own number 25, Owen Tapper, scores with 22 seconds left to go in the third period to tie the game on a beautiful over-the-shoulder, behind-the-back goal as he is falling down.
One-handed.
But that's not what one-handed. But the report card comes 10 seconds after that goal. And it was a group of fans, not sure who exactly they were, but they were banging on the glass. They were hyped up. They were into it, that it was now a tie game. They were into the game so much, Jake, that they didn't just bang on the glass. They shattered it. That's right, classmates. You heard me right.
Was it more than one? Like it was a bunch of guys that were smacking it?
I think
Did
it was
punch
5,
it,
6, or 7 guys. I don't know. I if there is a camera angle or a video, I didn't see it, but I can imagine it would take 5, 6, 7 people to really shake that thing that caused it to completely snap and break.
And it took what? It took a good. So just paint the picture here a little bit.
It was a 24-minute delay.
Yeah,
with 23 seconds left in regulation.
Yeah, so they score 2 times in the final minute to tie up the game. There's 23 seconds left in regulation. The glass breaks, so they can't finish. They have to vacuum up the turf. Like, it's not like you can just bring a broom out and sweep up the concrete and be done with it. They had to sit there for 25 minutes and vacuum up every little piece of glass shard and then bring the guys back out to finish regulation and then play overtime after that. It just sucked the momentum right out of the building there. And
they had to put up a new panel as well to replace that.
Yeah. I don't know what grade you want to give out for that, Lucas, but over exuberant fans breaking the glass in a playoff game.
I think I got to give that a B- or maybe even a C+. It's fun to see it, absolutely, but don't do it to the point where you're breaking stuff and causing damage, especially to public property as it is a town of Whitby product at that arena. But still, it's nice to see fans that are engaged and they have fun with it. But don't go breaking shit.
The passion was there. Well, it's not the first time we've seen glass break at a lacrosse game. I mean, last year at the President's Cup, let's say maybe Casey Swamp put his butt end of his woody through a pane of glass at the Ladner Leisure Center that caused a bit of a delay. I think we saw a glass break 2016 at Minto Cup at the Langley Event Center. Somebody got a little frustrated coming off on a shift and snapped the pane as well. So it happens, but it's been a while since I've seen a fan smash a pane of glass in a lacrosse game.
Hold on, Jake. You want to know what's funny about that? 2022, round 2 playoffs, game 5 in Whitby between Whitby and Orangeville. Same thing happened. Fans broke the glass.
So maybe there's a bit of a glass issue in Whitby. Maybe they're not making good glass back there. I'm going to keep it here on the West Coast. And like I said, Addex and Junior Shamrocks were in the BC final. For the most part, Victoria does one of like those VO feeds for their games. Like there's no announcer, but at least there's a camera. So at least you can watch the game. And then they scheduled that game 6 for a 1 p.m. start time over there in Victoria, which made me raise an eyebrow. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're making these guys get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go hop a ferry for a 1 p.m. face-off. Like, okay, Victoria, I see you working over there. So anyways, I'm out running around doing some errands and what have you, and then it's time for face-off, 1 o'clock. Okay, dial up the YouTube, go find the Victoria Junior Shamrocks channel. No game. Okay, maybe they're just starting it a little late. I need to watch this game. It's game 6 of the BC final. I need to watch this game. Still no stream. Still no stream. I'm texting Jenner. I'm texting you name it. Where's the stream? What's going on? Finally, I get a hold of my man Rod Wood. Roddy, what's going on? He says, what do you mean there's no stream? I said, I'm looking and I don't see. I want to watch this game. What? Let me get back to you. Text me. He goes, well, apparently Bobby Hayes, I think, is the guy that usually runs the stream, and he's on the Shamrock bench today, so that's probably why there's. But go to Facebook Live. Game's there. I said, oh, okay, good. He goes, oh, hang on a second. Stream's now up on YouTube. So a triple plus to my man Rod Wood, who just on spur of the moment reached out, got a hold of the right person, got the stream up around midway mark of the first period, and I got to watch the rest of that game. But I feel like if I hadn't gone above and beyond my civic duty there, Lucas, nobody would have been watching that thing. But thanks out to Rod Wood over there in Victoria, who managed to get the game up in time, so I was able and others were able to watch that. I got to give a shout out to Lax Nation as well, because, like I said, no announcer or anything. So you just had the ambiance, the sounds of the game going on back there. And I kind of felt like it was louder when Coquitlam was scoring than it was for the Shamrocks in Victoria. So Lax Nation was rolling deep over there at the Q Center for game number 6 as well. So shout out to those guys. All right, report cards are done, but we are not done here on period number 1. We still have our Goalie Factory Goalies of the Week and our Rycor Standout Players of the Week. Let's go to the factory first for our Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week.
Big save, Giuliano. Rebound call, Crime Stoppers.
Vince just scored a goalie goal.
Jameson somehow comes up with the stop. Larceny.
And here's Shane Jackson off the bench. And there's Christian Del Bianco with a stick side save. Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week is brought to you by, you guessed it, the Goalie Factory, where their expert coaches and trainers focus on building strength, agility, and positioning, along with game-specific skills to empower athletes to get better at the position of goalie in both field and box lacrosse. And whether you're a beginner or an experienced goalie looking to take your game to the next level, they'll help you build the confidence that you need to achieve your goals. It's simple. Go to their Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook to book your spot today through the link in their bio at Goalie Factory _ TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can find them all everywhere at Goalie Factory _ and then hit that link in their bio. Get signed up to the Goalie Factory and get better at playing goal in the sport of lacrosse. This guy, I don't know if he needs to go to the Goalie Factory, because he put on an absolute clinic through the playoffs here, and I got to pull this back up. Evan Konstantopoulos. Been practicing, Lucas. Evan Konstantopoulos. Check this out, dude. 15 games he has played in the playoffs. That's almost the equivalent of a regular season. He's seen 639 shots. He's allowed 77 goals. That works out. He's 10-4, by the way, in those 15 games. His goals against average, 5.34. His save percentage, 879. 15 game sample size, 5.34, 879. Easily the Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week. And maybe for the last couple of weeks here for Evan Konstantopoulos.
He had a great playoff run. He was able to show up big when it mattered for his team. Dropped a couple of games, of course, but
it wasn't because of him.
He's a big guy.
I'll tell you that. He's humongous, man.
And he's a big part of the reason why Orangeville, for the second straight year, are Ontario champions and going back to the Minto Cup.
Buffalo Bandits as well. I'm surely that experience has helped Evan get to the point that those Northmen are at now. I just opened up my phone randomly, and I want to mention this just because I see it and I don't want to forget. The NLL draft is still happening. The entry draft talked to Dalek, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago now, and he said like they need free agency to happen before the NLL entry draft happens. That doesn't look to be the case. They're still going to do the NLL entry draft on September the 6th, and of course the Toronto Rock with the first 3 picks. Vegas at 4, Mammoth at 5, Halifax at 6, Georgia 7 and 8. Roughnecks at 9, Rochester at 10, and then down the list it goes. But NLL draft, NLL Plus, still happening on September the 6th.
Do you know?
I'm pretty sure it's virtual. I'm sure Teddy and Pat will be running the show there for the NLL entry draft. NLL Plus, September the 6th. We'll get you more details as we get a little closer to the date. Still one more quick segment to come. I know your laptop is dying, Lucas, so let's get to it quickly. We're heading to the no laptops on the construction site for our Rycor Standout Players of the Week.
I'm a hard-working man.
All right, no time for singing this week either, Lucas. Let's get right into it. Who is your Rycor Standout Player of the Week, presented by Rycor Construction?
He finished 4th in the regular season for points in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. He is a rookie in this league. One Rookie of the Year for the Orangeville Northmen. Number 20, it is Max Kruger. Man, this guy had a great season. Scored the tying goal last night, Monday night, I should say, against Whitby to give his team a chance to win in overtime. And he was able to help this team win in a provincial title and hopefully a Minto Cup. So Max Kruger definitely stood out for me this past week.
Well, I'm going to go with WLA here, and I am going to go with none other than New Westminster Sandbelly's forward. He led the league in regular season scoring, and I'm pretty sure he's right up there in playoff scoring as well. Just behind Ty Kurtz, who's got 25 points, but Mitch Jones, who just stepped up in the biggest moments, in particular that game 3, pulled that one out of the fire for the Bellies with a natty hattie, the 2 late tying goals, and then the overtime winner as well. And then just kind of took the hearts of the Shamrocks in that game 4 in Victoria and played phenomenal through that semifinal series. So I'll go with Mitchell Jones of the New Westminster Salmon Bellies as my Rycor Construction Standout Player of the Week this week. All right, I know you're about to crash over there, Lucas, so shout out to Rycor Construction. They make it stand out over there. You know the deal. All sorts of renovations, any type of renovations, they're going to get the job done for you. And we appreciate those guys ever so much. Let's kick it off to period number 2. And let's talk to Colorado Mammoth legend. Let's talk to the general manager of the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club and Brooklyn Merchants, and Gavin Prout, who joins us next here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network.
This is Matthew Carrick, and you're listening to Lax Class.
Welcome back to Lax Class. We are into the second period. We're going to overtime here on episode 351, but period number 2 is always brought to you by Edge Dynamics. Sharpen your brand on a global level. That's what they're doing over there at Edge Dynamics. And they can help you understand the challenges of limited resources, and they're there to help you succeed. That's the bottom line. Whether it's growing the fastest game on 2 feet or strengthening your organization, they're there with you every step of the way. EdgeDynamics.ca, sharpen your brand on a global level. Go to their social media as well. See all the stuff they got going on their Instagram account at Edge Dynamics Digital. We are going to talk to the man in charge of the Brooklyn Merchants and a big part of the President's Cup. We got a loaded episode here this week. We're talking all sorts of stuff, but we're going to talk to my main man right now, and Gavin Prout. Prouter, welcome to Lax Class. Appreciate you doing this, man. How are things?
Oh, things are busy as always. Anytime you have a couple of teams you're running throughout the summer, it takes up a lot of your time. So I'm enjoying it, but it's getting to the end, so I'm a little hard to wear here.
I know. Well, not just one team, but two teams. And then you got another, what, 7 teams coming into Brooklyn to play in the President's Cup. So you're in charge of a whole lot of stuff going on back there and just not really enough hours in the day for you. I'm sure you got a little help back there as well. But still, I don't even know where I want to begin. I want to begin with the Brooklyn Merchants, I think, man. 18-2 regular season. Is that right? That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, we have 14-2. We ended up in a regular season, and then we're at 4 games, 4-0 in the playoffs right now. So we
Okay.
swept our
Okay.
first round, and we're on our second round of playoffs right now, 1-0 over the Rivermen.
And you're doing just a best of 3 there. You guys are both into the President's Cup, so no real reason to kick the shit out of each other for 7 games.
You got it. That's exactly the case.
All right. So one first game there against the Rivermen. I mean, not the first time you've seen them this year, but you know those guys are very experienced. They're at the President's Cup virtually every single year. But you got game 1 against them. But I would imagine both teams are maybe holding a couple of cards back for the big dance next week.
Yeah, you know what? It's a feeling out period when it comes down to the playoffs. They're totally different levels of playing and versus the regular season. You don't typically see a full squad in the regular season. It's kind of a mishmash of players that you can put together. But playoffs are a little bit different, as everybody knows, and we are feeling out each other. We went down there for game 1 and beat them 11-3, which was nice to see. We had a couple of guns that were running pretty well, and we still have a few other guys that are waiting in the wings. But at the end of the day, it's a team game, and everybody's happy to be up 1-0 right now.
I gotta say, Gavin, I've been fortunate enough to watch you guys a couple times this year, and that goalie tandem you have of Lucas Cute and Deacon Knott is something to behold, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's always nice having confidence in both your goaltenders. I think we always say we have a 1A and a 1B. There's no real starter or secondary goaltender on this team. Both are very capable of winning a game and winning a game on their own, which we've seen in this regular season and playoffs. So at the end of the day, as I said, we have confidence in both goaltenders and looking forward to seeing what both can pull the next couple of weeks.
Here with Gavin Prout, and I'm looking at the rest of the roster here, Prouter, and I'm recognizing a lot of last names on here, but correct me if I'm wrong. Like I've seen Will McLeod up with the big club at Senior A, Volkov, NLL. You guys got some players on this roster, but Saris, another guy I think was playing for Peterborough. So I know you got all these guys listed on your roster. Are they all going to be available to you come President's Cup?
They will be, yes. Well, that's the plan. We have Alex Marinier, who is a natural, talented offensive player. Played for Coburg all year. He was on top 5 in scoring as a rookie this year, so he's a huge addition. He went 4-4 last game for us against Six Nations. We have, as you said, Volkov is coming back and forth. We have
Peroni, he spent a little time there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Will McLeod, of course. He's playing both ends of both teams. Alexis Samard, Jacob Hickey. So we have a lot of guys that are getting a lot of lacrosse in this summer, getting a lot of experience playing in both levels of the game for both Senior A and Senior B, and I think that's only going to make them better in the end.
You're also fortunate enough to have the Pfeiffer brothers up there on offense. I gotta say that's a dynamic duo in amongst itself, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Those guys have been with the Merchants for, I can't even know how long. It's got to be 6-7 years straight. They've gone through some druthers in the past couple of years, and now that we have put together a squad around them, they're reaping the benefits of having some really, really talented players around them, and they obviously contribute. Parker being the transition player of the year for the second year in a row now, which will be announced at our game on Saturday, and it's just I can't be happier for the two guys. As I said, they've got their war wounds. They've been there forever, and it's absolutely great to see how well they're playing this year.
You got the turf down there at Iroquois, which is great because during a hot week at the President's Cup, you don't want to have 100 floor wipes going on all day. So that's huge. Has the group there maybe reinforced the glass around the arena? Because we saw a little situation there in the junior game.
Yeah, it reminds me when I played junior. We had one of those instances in our Minto Cup finals against Burnaby decades ago now, but. Definitely, it's there. We have some very passionate fans in Whitby there, and as you can tell, they got a little bit out of control on the glass on that final goal to tie it up to go in overtime. But it was great to see that there's that much support for the teams in Whitby right now, and still to come. Hopefully, pull some more fans up for the President's Cup.
Yeah, obviously a tough one for the Warriors last night as their season came to an end. I think Lucas is still wiping his tears away, but I'm sure he'll get over it. I want to get a little history lesson on the Merchants. Why are you guys called the Merchants?
Well, that's a great question.
Yes.
If I was to tell you a one story or another, it probably would or would not be truthful. So I'm going to pass on that one. I believe it has something to do with the back in the day, the town of Brooklyn is a small little town, but they had all sorts of different groups around that collected and merchandise and things like that, as the merchants do. And Brooklyn's always been known for like their little merchandise pop-up shops and stuff like that. So that would be my guess, but I guarantee that's probably not the truth.
Okay, well, I'm looking for it. I've never been to Brooklyn.
Take a look for me. You let me know.
I'm looking forward to maybe seeing some of these pop-up shops. So, listen, last night, the picture got a little bit clearer, right? We saw the Allegheny Arrows punch their ticket. We saw the Snake Island Muskies punch their ticket once again. So now we got, correct me if I'm wrong here, we got the Rivermen, we got the Merchants, we got the Pioneers, we got the Muskies, we got the Arrows. Who am I missing here? We got Saskatchewan's bringing the team in. I'm not really sure the situation there is. Maybe you can clear that up. I think they're just kind of slapping the best of Sask has to offer. But I heard 8 teams coming in. So who am I missing? Is Nova Scotia or Manitoba putting a team in too?
Manitoba will be the 8th and final team on the roster there. So they're putting another all-star team in, similar to what Saskatchewan's doing with theirs.
Nice. And maybe just let the people know here, games get going August the 24th, I believe, and we're talking all day long here for about 4 or 5 days, and before we get into the semis and the crossover. I'm assuming with 8 teams now, it's going to be two pools?
That's correct. We're going to have 2 pools. Pool 1 will be us, which is the Merchants. We will have the Snake Island from the TNSLL, the Miners, and Manitoba.
Miners, that's the one I was missing right there. Yeah,
and the Manitoba Blizzard coming in, and then on the other side of the divisional will be BC, which is the Pioneers, the Saskatchewan All-Star team, the Rivermen, and then we have Allegheny.
Beautiful.
Gavin, I know you are looking forward to it, but going back to Jake's question on the history of the Merchants, I got to ask, when did the Merchants decide to leave Vipond?
Well, that was this year. It wasn't really a choice of ours. As a local, you might know that Winchester Road down in that area has been being worked on in the past, probably throughout the last year and a half now. And in order for the fans, the players, everything to get to a game would have just been a huge pain in the ass. So we decided when the turf came down in the Iroquois, we thought it was a great opportunity to see if we're going to play the games there anyways for the regular season. We might as well do it for the President's Cup, and I think that's the right decision. We've seen a lot of fan support from there. Although we do miss Brooklyn. It is a smaller arena. It is a very hot arena. It doesn't have the air conditioning. It definitely does not have the turf. So all in all, I think we upgraded when it came to this season, going to Iroquois.
Hang on a second. Iroquois got air conditioning?
Yes, sir.
That is news to me and good news, I must say, to hear.
Jake, it's gonna be beautiful when you go there for the first time. It's great.
I can't wait, man. So just before we get off the President's Cup here, Gabby, let's let the people know all the games are going to be on the JVI Sports Network, every single one of them, free to view as well, which I know lacrosse fans will appreciate. But if, we got the locals listening, they want to come down to Iroquois and watch some President's Cup Lax, talk about ticket prices, passes, what can they do? Can they get a full week pass, single day, multi-game? What's the deal going on there?
Well, they can absolutely. Right now, for a season pass or the week-long pass, you can go on the Canada Lacrosse website, and I'll provide that at the end of the term as soon as I take a look at the exact one. I think it's 2025 President's Cup Canada Lacrosse is what you type in. You'll see the prices, the ticket prices right there, strictly for the week. If you do show up on a day-by-day basis, it's $25 to get in for the entire day. And if you're just looking to come watch the Merchants play, which is every night at 8 p.m., Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we play at 8 o'clock, and that's a $15 entry fee then.
That's I mean, $25 for the day. You're talking 4 game. That's like $6 a game.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't beat that. And good to hear you kind of stack the schedule a little bit. So the hometown boys are playing every night at 8 o'clock. No 9 a.m. game for the Merchants, right?
No 9 a.m. game for the Merchants. No.
And rightly so, right? That's part of hosting. Is you get to kind of dictate that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, they had the earliest game we have will be on the Sunday will be 10 a.m. and then the other games all start at 11 o'clock. So it's not too bad. It's not a stacked schedule. Like if you had 7 teams, there's times where teams are playing twice a day, and that's just exhausting. So I'm glad that we got the 8th team in there to give us a couple of divisions and some parity, as well as some time off for the guys to get their bodies rested and ready for the next game.
Prouter, let's jump from Senior B to Senior A. That Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, they've had a good playoff run. They got their first win against Peterborough since coming out of the playoffs. They are gonna do it. You guys got the first win that you were looking for. Now you've pushed the Lakers to the brink of elimination. That's very impressive, because I know you guys have been chasing that first playoff win. But I gotta ask, what's that locker room feeling like right now, heading into Game 6 at home?
Well, we're still hesitant, right? You never want to count your chickens before they hatch, but the way the guys have been playing the past 3 games, we lost the first 2. We made some adjustments. We watched some film. We figured out, some of the things that were working, some of the things that weren't, and the guys I put that into their game plan accordingly. And the past 3 games, although the last one was a tight win in overtime, I think we've earned our wins accordingly, and we're looking for the 4th. It's been a long time since we've beaten Peterborough in the playoffs. So right
Hardest
now
one to get too, right, Gav?
It is absolutely. And once you get over that hump, you never know.
Well, listen, man, similar to your Merchants, I would say a big part of your success for the BLC has been your goaltending. And I know I was when, and no disrespect to him, but when I saw Orleman getting the start in the middle of the series, I was kind of like, oh, is Higgy hurt? What's going on there? But not the case. And you got, 2 number 1 guys there that are capable of getting you a win at any time.
Absolutely, and that was kind of my mandate of getting off season, getting another goaltender. We had unfortunately Hutchcraft. He had to be closer to home. He has a younger family. He was coaching close to home in Mimico, and just he couldn't make He's been fantastic for us the past few years, and you just can't hold somebody like that back from playing lacrosse and doing what he wants to do. And with his capabilities, he deserves to play. So I wanted to get somebody just as capable, young goaltender. Buffalo Bands, obviously, with Steve, and we also got his brother in the same trade. But Steve has been fantastic. Steve's the one that takes practice shots against the best shooters in the league and the Buffalo Bandits every single week, in and out in the NLL. So we knew we had a goaltender that has seen every single shot you can think of from the best, and I think he's going to be a goalie for the future for us for many, many years.
Joel Johnston has done a great job on the bench this year, Gav. What can you speak to his performance and what he's been able to do with that roster?
Yeah, the 3 coaches, they're unique, right? They all have their own personalities together, but they mix well. And even though Joel is quiet on the bench, Brad is more of a go-getter. He rallies the guys up, and Joel's just kind of that has a calming effect on the guys. And he's very well spoken in the dressing room, and people listen to him. And they take what he says seriously, and that's all you can ask for a head coach. That throughout the past couple of years, he's seen us evolve from, a little bit older statesman of a team to we're gotten quite young this year, and we're still competing at the highest level. So that's a testament to all those guys that make their adjustments accordingly and continue to win, night in, night out type of thing.
Couple more minutes here with the great Gavin Prout, and I wouldn't, you're not a guy that does a lot of interviews, not a guy that does a lot of podcasts or anything, Gavin. So I'm sure a lot of people are excited to hear from old number 9, and I want to pull the curtain back here a little bit. What is Gavin Prout doing day to day, and in your business, your work life, your family life? Just kind of give the folks a bit of an idea what's going on with you.
Yeah, well, between work, which I'm still a CEO of an insurance company here, Special Benefits Insurance Service, just for those that need health, dental, or travel insurance. Look us up, sbis.ca.
I might
Shameless
just
little
do
plug
that,
there.
Gavin.
There you
I might
go.
need some of that right there. Yeah.
There you are. So I do that on a day-to-day basis, and besides that, between that and lacrosse, there is very, very few minutes in the day that you can sit back and do nothing. So I do enjoy keeping myself busy, keeps myself out of trouble for the most part, and keeping lacrosse in my life is allows you, as you know, as a ex-lacrosse player, Jumbo, and just being around the guys, there's just nothing better than that, right? Even though
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
compete anymore, but you're still a part of the team, and just being in the excitement of the arenas again is always fun. So I look forward to that. Although it does take up the majority of my time, there's that and work, and then my play time is very few and far between. But I do go up to the cards every once in a while.
No special lady maybe kicking around in your life that
No,
no?
nope,
Okay.
nope.
Okay. The last thing I want to ask you, and we saw you in the National Lacrosse League. Of course, your jersey hanging at the Loud House there in Colorado, a mammoth legend, I will say. But you were on the bench for the Rochester Nighthawks for a bit there. Is there a desire for you to get back in the National Lacrosse League in a coaching capacity?
Well, I think, with everything you kind of learn as you go along, and then Rochester wasn't the right fit for myself and the other coaching staffs. It's just different coaching styles and whatnot, and that's fine with me. I would be looking. I am interested in potentially continue a career in the NLL, but once again, it has to be the right fit. Because as you know, with free time, it's very valuable to people, and if you start dreading doing something, it becomes a job and it's no longer fun, which that's what I'm not looking to do. So if there's an opportunity there, taking a look at everything, if I find it's going to be the right opportunity, I definitely jump at an
All right,
opportunity
well,
like that.
I know you're not paying for a drink when you walk into the state of Colorado, so that might be a good landing spot for you.
Yeah, true.
Gavin, I got to ask you one last question. When's the last time that either BLC or the Merchants won Ontario? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, I know the BLC was not the BLC at the time. They were the Brooklyn Redmen in 2000. That was the last time that we stepped across and competed for the Man
You
Cup.
took it down.
We
Then
did.
Nevermount,
That we
Ontario.
did.
You won the big enchilada. Nikki Trudeau, the Mike Kelly winner, if
That's
I'm not
right.
mistaken. Yeah.
Look at you. Yeah, back in the encyclopedia of knowledge over here, Jumbo.
Yeah, well,
So,
he reminds me like on a monthly basis on Facebook.
okay. As for the Brooklyn Merchants, I believe we were 2016 when we went back and competed in President's Cup. If I'm not mistaken, out of Alberta. Yep.
Yep.
So that's the last time we've been there. So it's been quite a few years, and so 9 years is a long time. And looking forward to competing for Ontario this year. Not just coming in the back door, right? You're not looking at filtering in. We won. We're looking to win our league here. We end up in first place, so it's not like because I'm a host, we decide that we could just get in free berth. Not a big deal. I think the guys have earned it, and we're looking forward to competing.
Chris Atwood, starring back in those days, Gavin. Chris Atwood, good player. Did we lose you, Gavin? I mentioned Chris Atwood, and you just went silent on me.
he's one of the opponents this year in Allegheny, so
okay.
Can't pump him up too much here.
All right. You got anything else for number 9 here, Lucas, before we let him go?
Nope. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Prouter, and I'll see you as soon as I'm back in Ontario. And, it's unfortunate that I won't be able to see the Merchants win Senior B in Whitby this weekend, but, all the best to you with them.
It's not about BLC. You, Larger. It's not about you.
I know.
It's not about you.
It's Gavin, my hometown. I got to give Prouter some
I know.
Boy. Appreciate it.
Listen, Gavin, I know you're a little trepidatious about coming on the show here. You're asking me if you should bring your assistant GM with you, maybe a coach or two. Listen, buddy, you just carried the day here, man. Great job, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Oh, not a problem. I appreciate you having us on here and supporting the President's Cup and give us a few shout outs here and there. So I looking forward to seeing you do some commentating too.
Can't wait, man. Prezzi's the best. You're the best. And we'll see if the Merchants are the best at the end of the week as well. Thanks again for doing this. And we shall see each other soon, my friend.
Not a problem. Thanks, gentlemen. Talk to you soon.
There you go. There he is, Gavin Prout. And I don't know if you're old enough to kind of remember Gavin Prout in his heyday or not, Lucas, but you want to talk about a player, 5-tool guy that could just do it all on the floor, and nobody whipped up a crowd like Gavin Prout. Let me just tell you, this guy was a baller back in his day, and there's a reason number 9 hangs in the rafters.
1999, that Ontario Junior A lacrosse season, he was Mr. Everything for the Whitby Warriors. That was his final year, and man, did he ever put on a show. I was not alive to witness it, but the way that Gavin, my father, and my uncle always talked about Prouter, 5'2" guy, and like I said, he was Mr. Everything. Didn't matter what the task was, Prouter would go out there and he would fucking do it.
Team Canada, all the rest of it. All right, great chat there with Gavin Prout, but we're just getting started here on episode 351. The head coach of the St. Catharines Athletics, NLL Hall of Famer, Toller. Steve Toll joins us next here on the other side on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network.
Hey, this is NLL Hall of Famer Patty McCready. You're listening to Lax Class, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse.
Welcome back to Lax Class. I almost said halftime's over, but that happens in the winter. We're here. We're doing 3 periods, but we're going to overtime this week because we got 2 guests on the program. We just had a good chat with Gavin Prout, and now we welcome NLL Hall of Famer and the head coach of the St. Catharines Athletics, Big Blue, Double Blue, I should say, in Steve Toller. Toller, welcome back to Lax Class. It's been a minute. How are things?
I'm doing well, sir. It's glad to be back, and as always, you're doing a great job, and glad to be back and ready to roll.
Well, I asked Danny Pilon to be on with us here, and he said, nobody wants to hear from the organizer. I said, give yourself a little more credit here. You're not just an organizer, man. But he didn't. He was a little shy, but I'm glad you made some time here. You got your athletic
well, the thing
shirt.
Is, sorry, Double. The thing is, if Dan gets on the show, then we might not get a word in edgewise. Yeah. We like to talk, but he might be bigger than both of us in the talking department. Holy.
That is true. Where are you hanging out? You got a nice little backdrop in behind you right now. That looks,
just at my mom's place right now, hanging out in St. Kitty Cats with the boy and getting ready preparing for the Minto. She's been a long couple weeks.
Well, let's start right there, man. Yeah. Like you guys know, you knew you were hosting for a long, long time. So, there's a few ways to kind of approach that, I would say, but you get a first round matchup with the Whitby Warriors, and we just saw kind of what happened last night as their season came to an end in game 6 of the Ontario final. But I'll admit, like I was thinking, okay, first round matchup, they don't want to get knocked out in the first round. They'd like second round. I could see, okay, maybe, you take a bow out and you get a little extra rest.
Yeah.
But I was kind of concerned, like, okay, 5 games, they got knocked out first round. That doesn't look all that great.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, after watching Whitby go right to the Ontario final, you push that team to the brink, and now those Athletics have just been sitting like a dirty snake in the grass, getting healthy, getting rested, coaching and practicing hard. I think this is all like those 2 teams absolutely kicked the shit out of each other. Alberta went to 7. Coquitlam got tested. Like, you guys are primed for the Minto Cup right now, I would imagine. And I think this has worked out perfectly for you guys.
I would agree somewhat. Obviously, like you said, no one likes to lose in the first round, obviously. But, I mean, we also lost to a team that had Oldman and Littlejohn there as well, too, right? So, I mean, those, like I said, even that game last night, Orangeville scores that 1 goal, then they win the next faceoff. Oldman's there. Guess what? You're not getting that ball. They don't get that timeout. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference maker there. But again, not to make excuses, but like you said, we had 3 big injuries in our last game against Whitby, and now those boys are all healthy and ready to roll. And I think as a coaching staff, my guys have done a great job preparing them. We've had some NLL scrimmages with some guys that came in. We had some good scrimmages, 3 15-minute periods. We've had some gentlemen come in, one of Minto here, give some speeches. And yesterday we had Zenon Konopka come in, who played for the Ottawa 67s and got bounced early in the thing and said, you know what? We were like wild dogs our first game. We beat Roberto Luongo and the Quebec team. And you know what? We were healthy. We were prepared. And you know what? And too, like I say to our boys all the time, it's 18 boys that are 16 to 21 in a battle. Who wants it more, plain and simple, dotted line? Who wants it? Who doesn't want it? Who's making the least amount of mistakes?
You guys almost had it in that game 5, Steve. You were down 4 with about 7 or 8 minutes left, and you came all the way back. You had that final shot, and unfortunately didn't go your way. You just talked about it, but that entire first round series for you guys, like that was anybody's game, and a large part of it was due to goaltending on both sides.
Yeah.
Redlick and Wilson, but for you guys, Ty Wilson, he got better as that series went on. Wouldn't you agree?
I definitely would agree there for sure. And like I said, that series was a battle back and forth. In that last game, I tried to pull out every trick I had, from leaving early to guys coming to the bench to pulling the goalie on 6-on-5 and trying sneak plays. And we tried everything that game. And like I said, I mean, I've coached Ty Wilson since he was 5 years old. And it's a funny little story. I put him in net because I couldn't stand him on the bench, because all he did, he made us talk. Like, he talked more than me. So I'm like, this guy's got to be a goalie. And plus, his mom and dad are both over 6'2". His uncle's 6'6". I said, this kid's going to be a big kid. He's athletic as crazy. And like I said, I never give him compliments, because then it goes to his head. So I just say, Ty, you played okay. And then the boys always give him the gears. But no, both goalies were unbelievable. Redlick, he was unbelievable as well, too. And I mean, for us to get that opportunity, unfortunately, 40 missed it. But like Jumbo said, I mean, we have gotten healthy. We've got guys had rest, and we've had 2 to 3 practices a week of just going hard. But the thing is, too, as much as we can run them, and the boys have been running hills and stuff, there's nothing like game shape. That's the big key.
Well, now you guys are rested up and you're looking forward to the Minto. So I got to ask you, obviously you played your entire season at Canada Games Park. Have you seen the facility at the Meridian Center yet? Is the turf down? The boards are up? So like, describe it a little bit. What's it like?
I've been there, and our staff has been there. The players have not been. They just took out the turf last night, and it's going in there this week. Obviously, the place is big. It's just like kind of like Jumbo when they moved it to Brampton there.
About 5K, right, Toller? About 5K in there.
Yeah, 35 between 35 and 5K. Jumbo. Yeah, nice. I mean, like those, all the Meridians are all the same. Gorgeous facility, but like you said, our Canada Games Park was probably about maybe 500 to 1,000 just to being short to being perfect. I mean, our dressing was phenomenal. But the thing I like now is we did all the teams a favor, and there was 6 dressing rooms. We gave them 2 dressing rooms each. We're actually moving into like a VIP lounge. So it's kind of like, you know what, boys? We've had our glory and our nice things taken care of all in here. Now it's time to put the work boots on. We're going in a makeshift dressing room where we got to walk the showers and pay the dues. But it's kind of like it's time now. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to go to work. There's no more screwing around, and here we go. But the facility, it's an unbelievable facility, obviously.
I can't wait to see the broadcaster lounge. If the players are getting the VIP, what's going to happen here for the broadcaster? I'm looking forward to that.
Pilon's took good care of you. You know that. Pilon takes good care of everyone.
Well, you mentioned it, like all the work that you guys have been done, and I think you guys get Alberta on day one for the night game, and those boys are going to be like rabid dogs looking to tear some meat off a bone. Like, I can't imagine how hungry they must be just waiting around to play that first game.
Oh, for sure they are. And that's the thing, too. Like, I've had to tell our defense, which is a pretty good, mean, tough defense, like, hey, you can't slash our guys like that. You can't cross-check our, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're hurting. Yeah, they're hurting our guys. I'm like, yeah, we might need Bucktooth in a couple of weeks here, boys. Let's just slow down on the slashes. So it's one of those things. But, yeah, they're ready to roll. And like I said, I think we're going to come out hard. And like you said, that Alberta team, what a game. And, like, talk about relentless team. Oh, my God.
Holy cow.
Oh my God, relentless and never giving up. But the thing is, too, is like we talked to my team too, Jumbo, about is like like those 3 teams have been there. Like, they've all been there many times before, where our guys haven't. You know what I mean? This is a brand new thing for all our guys except for the Burlington boys.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time since the organization has won a Minto Cup. I know you had good success there during COVID in the bubble, but, that's got the asterisk beside it, and you kind of got to put that aside. But, this is a veteran-laden team here. You guys weren't satisfied either at the trade deadline, and you went out and acquired a bunch of guys from a couple of Ontario teams. You brought a guy in from BC as well. So just, walk me through the decision process and how you identified what needs you wanted and the guys that you went out and acquired.
Well, yeah. Well, we went out and acquired obviously the Burlington boys, Rawson, Innes, and McMillan. One of the reasons was we just needed a lefty to help out Bucktooth in the scoring department. We had some other good lefties there, but they just weren't putting the ball in the net at the right time. So we needed a lefty there. And then obviously we lost Logan Fletcher to Team Canada, and he was probably right behind Armstrong in our defensive department. So losing him. But then, I mean, we got Blondin. Well, I call him Blondie because Blondin is his name. He's 6 foot, 1,000,000 and about 230 pounds with good feet. So we just wanted some depth. Like you said, we wanted depth where we know we're playing 3 games in 3 nights, and you need depth, and some things are going to happen. and we just got to be prepared for that situation. And obviously, getting Nielsen was the big one. We just figured we needed some more depth on there if we were going to move a couple guys to the back door. And he's fit in real well and really coming into his own right now, which is huge.
You know, you're playing at the Meridian Center. What have the ticket sales been like? Walk us through that. Pricing, tournament week-long passes, all that.
I think from what I heard, again, that's not really I'm not really too concerned about that part from me, but I did hear from Dan that they took off early, and then now they've kind of slowed down. But I think now that Orangeville's in it, they'll start picking up again, I'm sure, that way, which will help. But I mean, to me, obviously, like anywhere you go, Minto, the two teams coming from far away, those games might not be a thing. But I think the crowd down here, I mean, the city's done an unbelievable job from downtown, from signs to everything that way to publicizing it every way. They've done a great job that way. So, I mean, again, if we got 2,500 to $3,000 in the finals, or for whoever was in the finals, whatever happened there, I think it would be great that way. And the city obviously supports us very much. So that's always good.
Here was Steve Toll, St. Catharines Athletics head coach and NLL Hall of Famer as well. And Toller, I know you're not in the NLL right now, and Kenny Millen isn't either, but Ian Rubel, head coach of Philadelphia, and all three of you guys have had a lot of experience, not only as players, but as coaches at the highest level as well. I want you to talk about your coaching staff and what all these guys bring to the table. You can throw Carter and Robbie Taylor in there as well. It looks like you've assembled a really good staff here to lead these guys into the Minto.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Robbie Taylor and Ian Rubel, I think they've actually coached here since like 2003. They are unbelievable coaching volunteers that put their time and effort in, especially now that Rubel's in the NLL. The best thing about having that staff and Carter helping Mojo out on the front door is just, I mean, I really just got to worry about things that are going on throughout the game, and I don't got to worry about the offense or the defense. Obviously, if I see something, I'll let them know. But it's like you said, I mean, these all four of these teams' coaching staffs are ridiculous. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they're there. They're very smart men, from Pat Cole to all of them. They're extremely smart coaching staff, and I like to say I got four of the best guys too in there, and we also got Nicky Demude, who's been doing wonders with our goalies that way too, which helps too. So he's there as well. So I mean, every team now, which is full of NLL coaches in that way and giving back to their organization. So it's unreal. But like I said, Rubel, Taylor, Mojo, Carter, Nicky Demude, they're unreal guys.
So it sounds like you kind of let Kenny and Ian work their side of the benches, and you're more managing game situation stuff, personalities on the bench, and kind of just keeping things in order more than anything else.
Yeah, it's one of those things where those guys get excited and Mojo wants to yell at the defense for doing something, and Taylor's yelling in my ear about the offense getting off, and I'm like, you coach the defense, I'll talk to the offense, don't worry. It's like those little things, you know what I mean? So, and when to call a timeout, and you know what I mean, things that I see too that we're doing, or if they're not happy with a guy, the way I like to do it is I want them always to be the good guy. I don't want them to be the bad guy, because I can be a bad guy and a good guy. And I'll give them a little bit of a sandwich where I give them a bad thing, then a good thing. I want them to be the good guy and say all the good things. And if they want to yell at them, tell me what you want me to say, then I'll give it to them, because they know that I would do anything for them. And that I you know what I mean? Like, let's get back on track that way. So that's kind of how we work the bench, really, Joel.
Yeah, it's funny, you mentioned the coaching staff, Stoller, and we just talked a lot about yours. You look at Coquitlam, Pat Coyle at the helm there. I mean, we all know about Pat Coyle. Yeah. Jalen Chaster and Ethan Tysers, two NLLers on his bench on either side of him. Then you got Bannister, you got Creighton Reed and Hickey over there. All guys. Andrew McBride, not just a mop guy over there with the Raiders, apparently.
I did send him a text saying, nice legs, Brider, nice legs.
High socks going, yeah. And then you got Orangeville, of course, with Krugs and Suter and Flipper over there. I tweeted out last night when Max scores the game tying goal and then Sanderson gets the overtime winner. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Is it 1995 all over again here? Sanderson and Kruger.
You had to say 1995. I was playing against them in 1995 when they did.
I got it in 93, Steve. So we're on the same page there.
I know, for fuck's sakes, fucking guys. I know.
But point being, I mean, some of the greatest minds that our sport has to offer here, all four of these teams are loaded with knowledge.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, you can't even really try any of your trick stuff because they all know the trick stuff. It's like you almost got to find something new to do. You know what I mean? And we're trying to come up with a couple things that they might not have seen somewhere. And it's the old thing too. Like, the worst thing is, like, our games are all on OJLL Network and still on. Those games, after they air, they all take him off the little shit. So they're all off the air, and you got to find them secretly through other people and all that, through videos and all that, getting them sent to me off online or somewhere else. Dirty little moves.
Hey, the games that they, hey, listen, being a Western guy, I mean, it was a long time where Ontario wouldn't do their games, period. Like, this is a new thing for Ontario just to even put their games out there. So I think, the playing field is finally starting to level out as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. I know you'd say that for sure. Where's my boy there? You need to stick up for me there. Where is he? Now he's gone. Yeah, no, but no, you're right, though. Like, it's still a scenario, too. Like, I still consider our team a very, very good team. Obviously, yeah, we're underdogs going in. We didn't win, and we got to prove ourselves.
Do you feel like that, though, Steve? Do you feel like you're an underdog being the host? Like, you look at it, I don't know, man. To me, I just feel, and I get to our boys is, you know what? You know what I mean? People say, oh, you got in. Well, let's just show them why we got in. You know what I mean? Like a bad break here. Ford scores that goal with 2 seconds left. What happens in overtime? You know what I mean? It's the old scenario of, okay, well, let's prove that we deserve it. It's like I said to those guys, no one else can do it but you guys, and it's up to you guys. And like I said, like when I won a Minto Cup my very first year junior A and thought I was winning 4 more, never made it back. You know what I mean? It's that old scenario. Yeah. When you get an opportunity, don't let it go. Like, just take advantage of it. Yeah, I just look at the 4-team field and I think to myself, like, okay, the hosts sleeping in their own beds, home cooking, lots of rest, good advantage there.
Yeah,
sure, you lost in the first round, but I still think that's nice, a nice luxury to have that nobody else is going to have. The Raiders, young team still, but they were there last year. They got some experience. I think no pressure on them whatsoever.
No,
they're coming in just to let it all hang out. Then you got Orangeville. I mean, perennial Ontario champs. There's some pressure there. They won the league. They've been there. They were there last year. And then you got Coquitlam, defending champs. You know, they've been to the Minto, I think, like 15 years in a row or something like that. We know all about Coquitlam, but there's that 1978 hanging over their heads where a Western team hasn't won a Minto Cup in the East in 47 years. So you can't really, like, this year in particular, I don't know if there is a clear-cut favorite or a clear-cut underdog. I think all 4 teams have a legit shot to win this thing.
No, I do too. And I think you said it's like peaking at the right time and getting the goal at the right time. Like, even those series, like, that's what scares me. Watching Orangeville, their timing of their goals late is unbelievable after game, and watching the Raiders do the same thing a couple of games in a row, and the scores of the games, you know what I mean? Like 5-4, 4-2 games, 4.
Yeah.
Huh. Holy moly. Like I got like, holy. And the thing is too, like our top guys are like, I'm like, okay, now we need to get, like, we always said we need 11 to win, but I think in the Minto you need 7 or 8 to win. I don't know.
Steve, I got to ask, you mentioned Ty Wilson. You've been coaching that guy since he was 5 years old. Probably another guy you've been coaching since he was 2 or 3 years old. Of course, is your number 2 on your team, and Zach Toll. It's not very often that a father-son duo makes it to the Minto Cup like that. So what are you most looking forward to about that, knowing you're going to have your kid on the bench?
Well, I'm very, very, obviously very excited and very proud that way for sure, and the way he's been playing this year and things like that, and more or less just keeping him under control and not mad at me, because it's like that old father scenario.
Are you harder on him than everybody else, Steve, or do you try and go the other way with it?
Well, it kind of weird. Like, the guys say that lay off him, but when I usually lay off him, he plays worse. Usually when he's mad at me, he plays better. But it's the old scenario too, Joe boys. I said, like, I've now learned, like, if I want him to shoot high, I'm like, shoot 5-hole, because then he shoots high. So then if I want a high shot, if I want a low shot, I'll say, top cheese opens that, go top cheese. Then he shoots low, just so he can walk off and say, told you 5-hole was open, Doug. Told you 5-hole was open. But I gotta tell you, we've had our run-ins, some funny story. Well, like, one funniest story ever about him and me coaching was, and I was way worse in minor lacrosse, and we were coaching a tournament in Peterborough, and I was just giving it to him, and my glasses fell off my face, and they fell right on the ground, and my assistant coach was behind me, and Zachy looked right in my eyes, and he took the big step, and all you heard was crunch. He just stepped right on my glasses, and he just smiled, and I couldn't do anything but smile back. And the other assistant coach he cried. He almost fell off the bench. He was crying so bad. He was laughing so hard. Oh yeah, but we've had our run-ins. But the thing is, too, is like I always say to him, like Zachy, like it's even from wearing extra equipment on your body. Like Zach, I played with John Grant. I played with John Tavares. I know what they wear. They get slashed here. Trust me.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't wear it. Then he gets slashed. And he wears me. He's like, "You're right, Dad." I'm like, Zachy, I want the best for you. I'm not gonna lie to you, bud. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want you to do well. It's that old scenario. No, but he's actually come into his own as a lacrosse player big time the last couple of years, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
Well, I'm proud of you, Steve Till, for coming on the podcast here, man. And I am so excited to get back to St. Kitty and call the Minto Cup with Donnie and Greggy and Doc and the rest of the gang back there. It's just days away now, man.
Yeah.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock, 7:30 for day one, right? We got the opening ceremonies in there, I think, as well. But Alberta up first, and then away we go from there, man. Best of luck in the Minto, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will see you soon. Have a safe flight, eh?
You betcha. All right, there you go.
All
there
right,
he is, Hall of Famer Steve Toll, head coach of the Double Blue. And again, Lucas, we talked about Gavin Prout and what kind of player he was. This guy's an NLL Hall of Famer, and man, one of the fastest you ever seen run the lacrosse floor. Like Whipper Watson would just throw that ball 3/4 of the way down the floor, and Steve Toll would start from his own zone and just run by about 4 guys, pick that thing up off a bounce, and then bury it on the breakaway time and time again. Hell of a player back in his day, and now has turned himself into a real good coach.
He has, absolutely. And he's found a way to lead this team to the Minto Cup. It's going to be fun as hell to watch them play. And, they're called the Double Blue for a reason because they strike twice and they strike fast. So it's going to be fun to watch them. And like you said, they got Alberta up first.
I thought it was because they had 2 different colors of blue on their jersey, but maybe I'm crazy.
Well, it's that too, but they also do strike twice in quick succession, and that's what makes them a very powerful and a very threatening team.
All right, let's take a break. We're not done here on EP 351. We got overtime to come. We will give you our Lax Class Lock of the Week on the other side. Stay classified.
Associated Labels and Packaging, a fun family company that offers premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service. With 40 years of experience, an extensive product catalog, and an ever-growing fleet of equipment, Associated Labels and Packaging is the perfect fit to take your labels and packaging to the next level.
This is Ian McKay from the Buffalo Bandits. You're listening to Lacrosse Classified, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse.
Welcome back to Lax Class. Into overtime we go. No more breaks here on the podcast. Thanks for hanging with us. Jake Elliott, Lucas Arger, and Associated Labels and Packaging are with us here in OT as well. I think they should have been with us in the third period, but I kind of forgot, so I'll do it now. AssociatedLP.com is where you want to go if you need a label or you need a package. Over 45 years of experience in the industry. Their catalog is ever growing. Their fleet of equipment is top of the line. The environment is always in consideration when developing their products, and the Ashworth family is as good as it gets. So support Associated Labels and Packaging. If you need a label, need a package, those are your people. Here in overtime, I will also request that you follow the podcast on social media, that you subscribe, review, and share the podcast as well. You can give us a follow on social media as well, and we'd appreciate it if you did all that. 5 stars only. Please jot down a couple of words there if you are so inclined to help our outreach grow. We need to grow our CoolBet account. That's what needs to happen here. Well, the classmates do anyways. I can't grow my CoolBet account with the Lax Class Lock of the Week, but hopefully your account will grow as we're going to get into it right now. Lax Class Lock of the Week.
Lock of the week.
Hey, let's lock and load it!
I am going to be a very rich dude.
Ooh, it's a big lock, all right.
Lock of the week. Lock of the week. Lock of the week is presented by CoolBet Canada. I believe that one Patrice Gregoire, he's got the Minto Cup starting in like 4 days. I'm like kind of stressing out a little bit that I'm leaving for Ontario in for a couple of weeks in 3 or 4 days. That guy is in Estonia right now. That is on the other side of the planet, essentially. But that's the home of Coolbet. That's where Coolbet originated. I told Greggy, I said, listen, man, if you're in Estonia and don't go play disc golf, I am going to be pissed because they have the top 2 courses in the entire world in Estonia, and disc golf is like, you think about a place like, take California and all the golf courses that are in California. Now go to Estonia. All those golf courses are disc golf courses. They don't have ball golf, traditional golf there. It's all disc golf in Estonia. So I said, you better be playing some disc golf back there.
That's not something I would have expected when it comes to Estonia, the home of disc golf. That's actually pretty fun. And cool bet. Okay, so they're home to disc golf and gambling. I don't know what more you could ask for.
Well, I didn't know, like, I still don't really know a ton about Estonia, but you think, you hear the word Estonia and you're kind of like, that sounds like a kind of a dead, like, doldrum, boring. Apparently it's like the Silicon Valley of Europe, I guess it is. Is that Europe? I don't know. But it's like tech heavy, like, very nice place. So anyways, Greggy's having a time back there. Hopefully he makes it back to St. Catharines in time. We did get in touch with Patty Gregoire, and we got 2 parlays coming up here, Lucas. Ride with Jumbo, ride with Larger. For the WLA Finals exclusive parlay, courtesy of Coolbet, bonus code Lax Class, get free money by using the bonus code when you sign up for your first time deposit. Then find the exclusive tab. You're going to find the exclusive parlay courtesy of Coolbet. And I asked him, I said, well, what can you do here? Let's do 2 different things. Let's do Bellies win the WLA Finals in 6 games, and Mitch Jones is named your MVP of the WLA Finals. And let's do Coquitlam in 7 games and Christian Delbienko your finals MVP. So he's put them both up there. Ride with Jumbo, ride with Larger, ride with both. What the hell? Why not? They got Peterborough and Brooklyn odds up there as well. Brooklyn, big underdog in game 6, at home. In fact, Peterborough at minus 182 there, just so you know, Lucas. But I'm ride with Jumbo is Coquitlam in 7, Delbienko the MVP, and that pays plus 1100. That's big. You're taking ride with Larger, Bellies in 6 with Mitch Jones the MVP, and that one is paying plus 750. We'll see which one comes in, but there you go. Those are the 2, and it's a week long here, right? This isn't going to end, but this gets going tonight, so hopefully people have just been on Coolbet and see this, because by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be too late to jump on it. But I wanted to get something in for the finals, and that's what we're doing. Ride with Jumbo, ride with Larger. Just so you know, in this one as well, and I got to admit, maybe I'm underestimating him here, but Coquitlam a favorite tonight and a favorite in the series as well. And I said to Pat, like, they're not a heavy favorite, but I was like, man, I'm surprised to see Coquitlam as the favorite. And Pat went to the odds maker, the bookmaker, and his direct quote, I am not fading Christian Delbienko in the playoffs. And you just kind of have to respect it. Like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So the odds makers got Coquitlam winning this series and going to the Man Cup, which, man, you think back to May, April, nobody, and I'm talking nobody, was taking the Coquitlam Adanacs to win the WLA Finals.
Yeah, Coquitlam was a good team at the beginning of the year. They started peaking at the right time, finished the regular season with only 2 losses, which were both against Victoria, so they swept New West this regular season, and it's going to be a tough battle here in the finals because New West is out for revenge.
Yeah, I really believe that New West has kind of found their form. I think they've got their chemistry going. They had a lot of moving pieces throughout the year where the guys were in, guys were out. Eastern guys were going home for stretches. They're coming back in. But over the course of the last, I want to say, like 3-4 games of the regular season and then through the playoffs, they've been kind of trotting out the same 18 runners. Frankie settled in goal. And I feel like they found their rhythm, which and their two out of their 3 losses, I believe, were just by 1 goal to Coquitlam, but a loss is a loss. The one thing, like the X factor of it all, is 35 between the pipes. Like he is just that big of a difference maker. And I don't think he had his best against Maple Ridge. They got through that series in 4 games, but the Burrards exposed him a little bit. They put up 12, I think, in game 3, and they were right there. Like they gave the Adnex a good run. Although that series ended in 4, they were right there. So I think this could either, I have no idea. Like, I feel like it could be over quick, like 5, or it could go the distance, and I don't know who's coming out on top, but that's the exciting part about all of this. Going into a series where you really don't know who is going to win, that's awesome.
What's the magic number? 8, 9? Is it double digits?
To win games?
To win games.
I think 10. You get to 10, you're going to win. Frankie and
you gotta hit double
Delbianco,
digits.
Yeah, I think that's the magic number for every game. You reach 10 goals, you're probably going to win that game.
It's going to be a fun series. I'm going to tune into it as much as I can. I know you're going to be calling every game, are you not?
No, I'm not. I get games 1 and I get games 2, and then I'm on a plane the next day.
Right.
So I'm not
All
sure.
right.
I'm not sure who's calling games 3 through potentially 7, but it won't be me. That's okay, because I'm going to be at the Minto Cup, Lucas, and that's the Minto Cup. I've done my fair share of WLA Finals games.
Sorry, but before you make it to the Minto Cup, I think you have to win 1 more frisbee toss. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, that's tonight, baby. I got to get that in. Speaking of, did I tell you that Millsy, he's like, "Oh, I'm coming for it tonight." I said, "Oh, don't waste your money again." And then I tossed it out there, and I didn't get it done. Somebody put it right on the button. I was like, well, if somebody lands right on the faceoff dot, sometimes you just got to tip your cap and say congratulations, you were just better on the day. But then I come to find out, I get a text from the head coach and general manager of the Vancouver Warriors. Guess who won the frisbee toss? I said, no chance you're chucking a frisbee. No way you're doing that. And he goes, no, wasn't me. Dawson Malosky, his youngest, the Hurricane. And it wasn't even his frisbee. He took Clark Walter's girlfriend's frisbee and chucked it for her and cashed it right onto the button. I couldn't believe it. Dawson.
Way to go, Dawson.
Yeah. I think
that's how you do it.
He's back at Nationals with Team BC right now for the minor nationals. Maybe we'll get the classmates updated on all of that next week once it's all wrapped up, who finished where. I did see Team BC get a couple of wins over Team Ontario, which always brings a twinkle to my eye. All right, so there you go. Lax Class Lock. Ride with Jumbo, ride with Larger, ride with both of us. Good luck. Stay cool. Bet responsibly. And we'll see how the WLA Finals plays out. That is going to wrap up EP 351. We still need to figure out what we're doing next week while I'm back east. Hopefully we can make it all work. But just in case, just be prepared. We might not have an episode next week. I hope we do, but we might not. So just prepare yourself for that. And if we don't, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time from Whitby, live and in person, as we're going to record an episode there together, which I'm looking forward to. I want to thank Gavin Prout and Stephen Toll for coming on the show. I want to thank our fabulous sponsors, Associated Labels and Packaging, Rycor Construction, Edge Dynamics, Goalie Factory, Coolbet Canada, and of course, the Western Lacrosse Association. Thank you to the classmates for listening each and every week. We appreciate it so much. And that's going to do it. For Lucas Archer, I've been Jake Elliott, and for the fastest game on 2 feet, and for the creator, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay classified.